Alrighty guys, welcome back to the show. I got a cast on the cards today. Been doing a lot of casting over the holidays just because I got some time and I love casting. And there's previously there have been two primary limiting factors that have kept me from casting more games. One is being able to find games, so in the past I've had to go through the vault. And the second is my computer actually doing the encoding and releasing the game, exporting the game so that you guys can actually watch it and I can upload it to YouTube. Anyway, I don't know what happened with Adobe's recent update, but Adobe did something crazy with Premiere. And so anyway, I'm able to encode things way faster than I used to be able to on my dinosaur of a processor. But the other thing is you guys have been great about submitting replays. So keep that up because it helps me put more content out for you guys. So anyway, as this is kicking off, let's go ahead and introduce the players. We'll start down here in the bottom corner. With Foxstep, he's going Aeon, going first land, got his initial harassing units already headed out to the center. To his north, we have Ruiner going Seraphim, going first land. Wrapping up the front line is going to be Rat Shit and Clank. That's kind of an interesting name. I hope this guy sticks around for a while because I want us to be saying that a lot more often. He's going Cybran, going first land, and then in our rear guard air position, if there is such a thing on this map, which it looks like there is, we have Fong. He's going Cybran, going first land. I like casting a good number of Fong's games. If you guys see him online, he's a great host. He does a really good job of balancing games, and he's very accepting of newer players. So if you're just getting into the game, you only got 5-10 games, and you're like 300 rated player or something like that, he'll be very accepting and work and figure out a way to incorporate you into the game so you can actually get some exposure with 1200 1400 level players. So that's really great, and I really love casting his games, and that he is all-inclusive. But anyway, let's flip over to Team 1. We have Witch King going UEF. He's actually going first there. Interesting choice, in my opinion, as far as where his position is on the map, but no matter. Down to his south, we have D-Good going UEF and going land all day. Up to his north, we have... if I can find the comm, already going out to the center, Mark Spector going Cybran, and he went first and then second land. And then last but not least, we have Mr. Bang going Aeon in the rear guard air position for Team 1. So Team 1 up here at the north, Team 2 down here at the bottom. I actually played a game earlier with Mr. Bang, earlier today. It was a custom game with some of the guys that I play with on... Some of the guys that I play with both on this channel as well as, just kind of regular everyday stuff. So he's a good player. He was also super nice in the game that I played with him as well. So anyway, everybody is getting initial units out to the front. So we got a couple of hunters being dispatched by Mark Spector, as well as the comm going out to the center and setting up some forward factories as well. So looks like there's a lot of good mass up here in the top. This is the Neuroxis map generator. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it does a unique generation of a map with a couple of, based on the criteria that you input. So you can input like how much mass you want to put in, how much, if you want water on the map, if you want hydros, things like that. So it makes for really fun games because it basically, you can take all of your normal build orders and reclaim orders that you would build out for things like Setins or Dunes of Arrakis and basically just light those on fire because they're not going to help you here. We've got Witch King also moving out with his comm to the middle. So everybody looking to move their comms towards the middle. There is quite a bit of distance between the players, so it'll be a little bit longer before we see some of the real action getting kicked off. Incidentally, I'm recording this day after Thanksgiving in America. If you guys celebrate Thanksgiving or are in America, I think America is the only one that celebrates Thanksgiving like kind of in the same way. It's not like Christmas or other holidays that are more universal across the countries. But my wife is actually at work. She's working a night shift tonight. She works as a nurse at a children's hospital. And I just wanted to say, if you or a loved one is a nurse, doctor, first responder, firefighter, police officer, anything like that, you guys have my deep and truly heartfelt thanks that you guys are sacrificing some of your holiday time to protect and help people that end up getting in trouble on nights like this. So thank you guys so much, and I want you guys to know that I really appreciate what you guys do for society and for your profession. Engineers being dropped off here for Fong. This is really aggressive, setting up a T1 PD right off the bat. They'll be able to mop up these labs. And we have a radar system coming down, but Mark Spector's comm will be able to address this relatively quickly. Depending on how much, I don't know how much damage he's going to take. If he has overcharge, he's probably not going to take that much damage from this. Yep, there we go. There's the overcharge coming out. So yep, and those engineers are gonna run for the hills. Down here at the bottom, really good expansion coming in from Fox Step, looking to actually setting up some forward energy. So must be in a little bit of an energy crisis, and figured that the best place to do it was right where your comm is. But setting up forward radar and getting some Spirit Scouts up here, and Witch King actually going for a T2 upgrade. This seems like a little bit of a precarious position. He's got no supporting units. Although these spirits are not exactly going to threaten him in the slightest. These things do even less damage than he does regen. Auroras come up, and these Auroras will cause a little bit more of an issue, but again, not enough to be an actual threat unless he moves his comm up that way. So it looks like things are setting up pretty nicely along this dividing line. Usually the Neuroxis map generator does kind of a mirror number, so it just builds out half of the map and then flips it over. So that's usually what we like to see, what we see out of this. T1 bomber action coming out as well. Interceptors, though, picking that guy up before he'll even be able to do any damage, so not a super successful bomber there for Fox Step. And Spam really just kind of doing ring around the rosy here for Ratchet and Clank and Mark Spector up here at the top. Gun upgrade coming in from Mark Spector, so going to be turning that commander into as much of an experimental as possible. Similarly for Fong, we have gun speed and range, who's actually moved his commander out of his initial base, so wants to try and tip the scales, putting 4 ACUs on the front line. We do have the first little spat on the front line, if you will, between D-Good and Ruiner out here on the front. Ruiner seems to have a better convalescence of spam here, but there's a lot of support coming in for D-Good, so I think it'd be best to kind of do a controlled retreat here and take as many of these T1 tanks with you as you can. Which seems to be what he is doing. Some assistance also being moved over from the Witch King of Angmar himself. He was so close to making that such an epic name. I feel like if he had made it the Witch King of Angmar. But then, of course, if there's a girl on this team, then, or a woman, then that's kind of curtains. That's kind of curtains for the Witch King right there. So maybe it's best that he doesn't align to a particular Nazgul. Although I don't know if the Lord of the Rings lore allows for Nazguls to die to different things. Anyway, I digress wildly. Big run by coming in from Ratchet and Clank, pulling back, and then D-Good is going to pull back a lot of his spam to assist there. And he did a pretty good job not leaving himself open here. Got a couple of T1 PDs setting up this front line. We do have a stealth upgrade coming in from Mark Spector as well, so getting sneaky with that comm. Also gun speed and range coming in for Ruiner, so pretty much everybody is just going to have gun upgrades, except for, I don't think I've seen a gun upgrade out of Fox Step. Now he is elected for T2 Engineering Suite, which he is using to put down T1 point defense. And then I think we have T2 Engineering Suite here for Angmar, or for the Witch King himself, who is setting up a PD creep with these triads on Fox Step. So T2 power generators, well, that's a pretty vulnerable spot for that T1, for that power generator, considering a triad's just gotten put up there. Run by is successful, though, for the Witch King. These Auroras not going to stand up super well against the Strikers if they allow them to close, but he's doing a pretty good job of kiting. Gun speed and range now coming in for Ratchet and Clank. So, like we said, continuing with the stylish moves of going for gun upgrade. Fong actually expanded up to this northern section. So, capped both of these hydros up here, as well as this hydro. Wow, there's just a lot of hydrocarbons up here. So he will be benefiting from the power generation there. Both teams pacing incredibly evenly on the eco-generated side of things. Fox Step electing to just set up eruptors and drop them in the Witch King's face. I don't really know what the overall plan is. He does have an Oblivion turret here backing him up, and that'll be very helpful with dealing with the large AoE alpha strike. Will be very helpful in dealing with Witch King's point defense creep here. Pew! Oof. Taking out a couple tanks there. He does need to bring in some spam to assist, though. He just doesn't really have very much in the way of tanks. I think he's only producing out of one factory. Yeah, because he's producing engineers out of this factory, but... Wow, up here at the top, it looks like there's a little bit of a commitment as interceptors tangle over the top for Mr. Bang and Fong. Cybrin, Cybrin, Mono, Mono. Both with gun upgrades. But Ratchet and Clank definitely more healthy than his mirror. Mark's going to fall back, though, drop some auto guns down, and he should be okay. Well, no, actually, I don't know. That push might not peter out. Yeah, he's got a lot of good juice here. He takes out this PD. I don't know if he's going to have enough time to set up another one, and he needs to focus down on this comm, though, and just go for the trade. Or, well, I mean, I guess it's not really a trade. Ooh, that's nasty. We have D-Good coming down from the south. Okay, so what looked like a really great idea for Ratchet is I can barely say that with a straight face. Is not looking like a very good idea anymore, as he drops down below 50% HP with no spam or not enough spam nearby. I think that Mark will be able to close this one out. He just needs to commit. And yeah, he is going down, and that is our first ejection. Oh, meanwhile, down here at the bottom, we have interactions between Ruiner and Foxstep has apparently been ousted from his little burrow here. Just really not producing much in the way of units. Only going now to a second land factory. Apologies for the pause there. Ruiner also getting ruined here in the midsection. Does have T1 PD to fall back on, though, so that's probably not going to turn into anything super lethal. Foxstep setting up Oblivion turrets as well as Eruptors, so still just going for the kind of mass PD strategy, but he seems like he kind of sets up these PDs and then he ends up losing a position. Then he falls back and sets up another line of PDs and then ends up losing that position. So it seems to be a little bit of a losing battle, although with 3 Oblivion turrets, he might have the critical mass needed to stop this PD creep once and for all. Witch King just eating shots from these Oblivion turrets. Full share is on, incidentally, so Fong is the recipient of Ratchet's base. But that does leave a little bit of a vacancy here because Ruiner is focusing here, and Foxstep really isn't doing anything else but focusing on this little portion of the front line. So that kind of leaves this gap here in the middle, which ideally you would have seen Ruiner kind of cover this, and Foxstep I think cover all of this downward area. But that doesn't seem to be the way that these guys divvied it up. Fong is airlifting his commander into the middle, so looking to assist Ruiner and ruining D-Good's forces here in the middle. With 3 Oblivion turrets, though, this should be relatively stiff point that Foxstep can defend. Gun speed and range completing here for D-Good goes immediately into the T2 upgrade. So everybody really looking to get entrenched into the middle. Mr. Bang's been pretty quiet, but we do have a pretty good assortment of swift wins, and he is up to T3 air. We're seeing spy planes coming out, as well as the first couple of Coronas rolling off the conveyor belt. So that's going to be a problem. Where are we at with Fong? Fong is up to T3 air. He's producing Corsairs right now. I don't know how many of those he has. Those are interceptors. Also interceptors. I don't know how many Corsairs he has or where he's putting them. But, oh no, there they are. So he's got a few, or one. Well, it's about to get shot down by this interceptor. Yeah, remember the test that we did on fighter bomber and found out that the Corsair is really just a bomber that just happens to have missiles that can shoot at other aircraft. And nano repair coming in for D-Good as well. Wow. Okay, so lots of comm upgrades. Actually, he canceled the T2, so going for nano repair. Team 1 is waning a little bit, honestly, in generated eco, even though they're up one person with the eviction of rat shit. Team 2 seems to be accruing more mass and are edging them out just by 2k. So not a whole lot in it as far as the mass lead, but it does exist. And with this kind of disparity in eco generated, although I don't know if there is a disparity anymore, maybe somebody just upgraded something, that gap will continue to grow. I think your chip leader here is going to be Ruiner or Fong I think Ruiner is doing a lot of reclaiming probably a lot of these wrecks that have been deposited on his doorstep, with Fong being the beneficiary of Ratchet's base to be the other chip leader. ASF's coming out for Mr. Bang, throwing pretty much everything he has into there. We also have a Shocker at T3 Aeon Strategic Bomber getting deployed as well. So maybe looking for some sniping action. From a ASF perspective, how many ASFs? So Fong only working with 4 ASFs right now. Mr. Bang working with 5, but he does have a bank of Swift Winds, or he did, yeah, down here. So he's got another 8 Swift Winds. So air superiority probably falling to Team 1 right now. This is pretty funny. So the Witch King is building on these mexes and capturing these things, and these Oblivion turrets are not shooting at them because they're arguing with this cliff about their ability to shoot these tanks. That's kind of funny. And so anyway, these mass points are just going to be cranking away because those Oblivion turrets don't care and are much more interested in beating down this cliff. But this strat bomb has now been released. Fong responding with his ASFs. No Corona coverage, so we will see that Shocker take out a radar. Probably not the best use of a strat. That's what I would expect if I was the air player. It's kind of how I would expect any strat run that I did to go. But Fong replying with a Revenant, going to zero in on D-Good's comm, bombs away, impacting on D-Good's commander. Scrambling, Mr. Bang is scrambling ASFs to intercept. Fong, though, also leaving his strat undefended. ASF's coming in now, but I don't know if they're going to get... I think that might be a little bit too little too late. They will lose that strat. Although, Gemini are in pretty good position on these Coronas. Well, they were in pretty good position. So, anyway, the Coronas will mop up those Gemini, and wow, we got a real big engagement here. So, oof. D-Good bringing in Parashields to help cover. But I don't know if that's going to be enough. If Ruiner commits, no Ruiner, live up to your name and ruin him. Yes! Alrighty. We have another eviction from the game. Ruiner, though, has got a lot of T1 spam inbound. But that comm does have gun and a couple ranks of vet, so I don't think there's a whole lot of danger there. And that levels it out. So 3 players apiece for the teams. These Oblivion turrets have finally decided to shoot at something else. I'm sorry, I'm so fascinated with these 3 Oblivion turrets. Just the way that just kind of the decisions on the turtle side are just entertaining to me. So anyway, Foxstep moving his comm up to T2 with some Obsidians. And that comm is a chunky boy that has got double gun as well as shield gen up. So it's chunky, but I don't know if it's capable of tearing through hundreds of units chunky. So we will see. He is, yeah. his allies are pinging him to not commit suicide there and just run headlong into this massive army that the Witch King is marshaling outside of the gates of Minas Tirith. I'm such a nerd, I'm sorry. Up at the top, Mark. That gun upgrade. Looking to dislodge, I think, Fong's position here. There's nothing wrong with that. Fong has been relatively unmolested up here at the top. But he's not working with a whole lot of units, really just his commander. And his commander is just kind of sitting out here pretty vulnerable. Foxstep did decide to move his units out. We have mass T1 bomber spam, and these units will get encircled and most likely annihilated by the Witch King's forces. Obsidians are good, but they're not that good. And his comm is going in there too. All right, man. This is a bold strategy. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for him. And yeah, looks like he has thought better of it and is turning his commander around. And up here at the top, we still have Mark probing at Fong's defenses here with that sniper comm. Does have a Cerberus turret just getting put up, so Cerberus turret will be able to respond, but the sniper comm keeping anything too significant from being developed. But I think the more interesting stuff is down here with Foxstep's commander dipping in and out of the water, thinning out the Witch King's spam, thinning out the hordes of Mordor. Pops his head back out again to take out a few more units, and he's losing health on that shield, and he is not deep enough. I don't know if Mr. Bang could scramble some torpedo bombers to oust him from that position, but that could be pretty good. We have our first T3 land, as far as I've seen, with Mark up here at the top, continuing to oust Fong from that region. Down here, though, Foxstep peeking his head out of the water once again, and once again we'll get forced back into the water. But again, these are just T1 units, and so while there are a lot of them, he's being relatively careful, being just kind of peeking his head out, shooting them down, popping them back in again. Ruiner in trouble, though. These stingers are causing him some issues. Where is Fong's Air Force? Fong's Air Force is inbound. Also getting harassed with T1 bombers. This Air Force should be able to clear this up. There's Mr. Bang's Air Force responds, and Fong bugs out with the ASFs that he has left, making out with only 2. But another stinger comes in over the top, and man, Ruiner is in trouble here. And this stinger, Fong needs to dive that stinger with what ASFs he has. Even though it's only 2, it's not worth losing a teammate over 2 ASFs. But I'm not seeing any reaction from him. Oh man, what a terrible way to lose a teammate just to 1 stinger. And you could even build some, yeah, so he's building some T1 AA, but that is not going to be enough. Ugh. Ruiner gets ruined by the Witch King. 23 minutes in from 1 stinger that could have been killed. That's a bummer. I think that was probably worth it to dive your ASFs in to kill off that stinger. But like we say all the time, it's easy for me up here at the top to say what should and shouldn't happen because I know what's going on, but these players don't necessarily see everything that we see up here. They don't have this bird's eye view that you are enjoying right now. Brakes are moving in, though. Cerberus turrets getting thrown together as well as auto guns. There is a restorer and adjuster. Yeah, so these brakes aren't going to be able to do quite enough. Yeah. Gonna take out a couple shield generators, but that's going to be about it. Mark has moved in with some bouncers up here at the top and is producing some additional bricks of his own. It looked like he lost too terrible too terribly large amounts of his base there. Oh, we got a GC under construction for Mr. Bang, as well as shifting to restore production instead of just going straight ASF. So satisfied that he has gotten air superiority right now, and looking to divert his mass elsewhere. Little band of pillars gets overwhelmed by superior technology here in the middle. Whalers as well out from Fong, so Fong looking to do some gunship on gunship action. I'm not exactly sure which one wins out between a restorer and a whaler if they're both going to town at each other. I would imagine the restorer. Gemini are once again going to get mopped up by the Corona, as well as the Swift Winds that have either been transferred over to the Witch King, or the Witch King is acquired Aeon tech in some way. No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like he's all UEF, so I guess Mr. Bang transferred them over to him. And tactical nuke. We're gonna have a Billy nuke deployed in this game. Always fun to see. It's probably the most terrifying thing for a caster whenever you see a nuclear explosion without hearing strategic launch detected. Thinking that you missed a kill. Ooh, Monkey Lord as well. So getting into the experimental phase of the game here. Between this GC and this Monkey Lord, that is going to pose a pretty serious threat. Do we have any kind of response from Team 1 from an experimental perspective? Does not look like it. Does not look like it. Fong focusing on bricks and ASF production, as he should, considering that there's a lot of aircraft out there. He does have some Myrmidons down, and these things will be invaluable at keeping these restorers off of his boys, as well as giving him potentially a little bit of an edge in the skies against these Coronas. We have a breakthrough here from another band of pillars. These guys didn't run into superior tech. Sniper bots coming out from Fong should be able to deal with that, as well as Fox Steps Commander. Mark's asking for mass for the Monkey Lord. We do have Harbs as well out from Fox Step, so this little incursion will be mitigated. But a little concerning that we're not seeing any responding experimental production out of Team 2. Do they know about the Monkey Lord? Have they scouted that? So they do not know about the Monkey Lord, and they do not know about the GC. So that will come as a pretty big surprise whenever these guys get done. Fong might be able to shut that down, though, pretty quick. He's got a pretty large army of a pretty large group of T3 units here. These bricks, though, are causing him to redirect, which is a bummer. He would have been able to identify the threat and mitigate it potentially before this thing got finished. Well, maybe not. That monkey would have gotten done just in the nick of time, and right about the same time that GC gets done. Wow, crackerjack timing. It's what we call crackerjack timing. Another air engagement between the Coronas and the Gemini. Gemini get a much better firing position, though, but there's just too many ASFs for Mr. Bang for them to overcome. Man, that was such a beautiful engage from Fong, but he had maybe a third of the ASFs there. And this Monkey Lord is coming for blood. Blood like Mark's color, deep red. And it looks like Team 2 do know it exists. So the monkey and the GC ideally should team up and just kind of steamroll down mid or top, whatever lane they want to pick. Pick a lane, any lane. So hopefully this monkey doesn't take too much damage on these guys. Well, I mean, I'm not saying hopefully because I'm impartial, 100% impartial, but for the interest of team one, well, actually it looks like the monkey is just going to wrap up all of this anyway. And the Monkey Lord and the GC will split, one going south, the other going north. We're seeing large amounts of tactical missiles coming out from, oh no, sorry, not tactical missiles, clink hammers, with a large number of kills already to their name. And everybody's hiding their comms, although Fong's comm is sticking his head out of the water. Yep. Hide your comms, hide your engineers, because they be raping everybody out there. Oh, that's a good meme from 2011, 2012. Alrighty, we got a Cerberus turret versus a GC and a Monkey Lord coming in. Those two need to join hands. Join hands, you lovebirds. Start marching your way down south, taking it on downtown. Large T3 force, so there is opposition here. The monkey probably isn't going to go down, actually. I was about to say it's going to go down, but not in the face of all that. There's large bouncer coverage as well. The bouncer's kicking the Geminis out of the club. You're starting 1-2. You started one too many fights, guys. Fong pulling his comm out to be the hero. We'll pay the price. So Fong has ejected. Foxstep is the last player remaining for team numero dos. Oh man, there's a Billy nuke. And another nuclear explosion. It looks like Foxstep has control Cade. Can't really say that I blame him. I'm not really sure if there's a whole lot that he could have done. It looks like the Monkey Lord did die somewhere along the way, but that GC was gonna... Oh no, Monkey Lord is still alive. Yep. So either he controlled Cade or the Monkey Lord killed him in 30 seconds. So either way, good game, well played, team one. The Witch King. Obviously, there were no ladies on this team. Otherwise, I firmly believe that team two would have been able to take out the Witch King and potentially win the game. But anyway, to wrap things up, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys like what you see, do the YouTube hokey pokey down there in the middle, you know, the bell, the button that pops up, right? It should be popping up right about now on your screen. There'll also be links to other videos on the channel as well. We have everything on this channel from like tests to I play ladder matches, custom games with some friends, as well as casts like this one. So if any of that sounds like your cup of tea, there will be more of that in the future. I try and post every other day or so. The holidays are a little bit of an exception. I'm trying to get a little bit more content out because I just have a little bit more time on my hands. But if you guys want to see me cast any one of your games, go ahead and send me the replay ID. Best way to do that right now is going to be in the YouTube comments. So just paste the little ID number if you guys are comfortable with that. The FAF friend system just isn't viable, and it doesn't seem like Discord is working as a great option either. So best way to do that is to post the replay ID down there in the comments, and I'll make sure to work your game into the casting schedule as long as it's not like a 10-minute raffle stomp. But anyway, I will stop flapping my gums, and I will see you guys in the next one. Till then, peace.